Hi, I have a little update video. I'm hoping it's not going to be a long one. I'm going to try not to make it a long one because I could ramble for days, but we're not gonna. I've been kind of flip-flopping all over the place with whether I do this or not, and you would have probably already seen from the title of this what I'm going to be talking about. But yeah, I have basically decided to stop Patreon. I'm obviously telling you guys first because you are here and I want you guys to know. I'm not quite sure how I don't really know if I need to announce it or not, or like, I don't know. I'll figure that out afterwards. I've been doing Patreon since 2017. I've obviously been up and down with it. It's been quite a constant in my job and specifically the income part of my job, which is amazing. It's been amazing. It's been a massive, obviously, especially last year, it was like a massive, massive thing for me. That helped me to basically stay some sort of financially stable through all the things I was dealing with last year. So I'm incredibly grateful for that and for you guys for being here basically through those times. But it's just reached that point where when I was doing lots of YouTube videos and stuff, obviously I could create more content for Patreon. Since I've kind of had the shop and I've been more into the design and productness of my job, it's just been hard. It's been hard to stick with Patreon, and to be completely transparent and blunt about it, Patreon at the moment is my only source of income. When I started Patreon, obviously I had other sources of income coming in. I was still doing my jewellery shop, I still had my YouTube running, I was doing content for brands and stuff. Like, I had other revenues of income, so there wasn't quite as much pressure with it, and so I ultimately found it kind of easier to do. But since I've come back to it this year, I have realised that it's been much more like stressful for me, and I didn't think it would be. I thought it would be like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I kind of streamlined it all. I figured out how to make it easier for myself to be able to do the things, and I've just found myself struggling with it still. The last couple of months I've thought about it, and the main reason I'm sticking with it is because it is my only source of income at the moment. Obviously I have bills and stuff to pay, so it's more important that I prioritise it. And then by making it kind of like that top thing I need to prioritise, it just kind of makes it more stressful in my head. Alongside that, I found myself more inspired with shop stuff. There's lots of things that have come into my head that I want to create, and I still have such a long list of things that I want to do, and instead of doing them, I've been writing them on the list or expanding. Like, I've actually designed things and looked for like manufacturers and stuff, and instead of doing them, they've just stayed on the list, because when it comes to doing work stuff or arty stuff, I will obviously prioritise Patreon because I have to some extent. So it's been a really hard dynamic with Patreon, and I don't really want Patreon to be that. I want it to be more of a extra thing. The shop stuff is the part that I would love to be my main source of income. There's much more I can do with that on a less intense, strict schedule. The main thing I've realised, especially with my head and learning how my head works, is I don't do well with a monthly schedule. There is always like a week in the month where I am not cool. Like, I'm all over the place. And I understand why now, and I'm trying my best to combat that, but it's not there. This month I got to a point where I was talking to my mum about it, and I was kind of laying it all out, and I was getting emotional, and I realised that the only reason that I've not stopped it and kind of put all of my focus into the shop stuff, where my brain is naturally being drawn to do things, is because I was so scared of not having any income, and then ultimately having bills to pay and not having the money to. And I'm still in that boat now. It is still going to be scary. Next month's going to be a bit of a, I suppose, tester in my head to see how well I cope with it. But as soon as I put it in my head, like, okay, you're stopping Patreon, my brain was like, that means I have all the time in the world, as such, to put my focus and my time and my ideas and all these things that I want to do into the shop, and I got excited and I was like, I think this is the right choice. So I've decided to go with it and do that. I am still very scared, but I am very excited because it just kind of lets me create without that restriction of it has to be done before the end of the month, and you have to make sure that you're coming up with a new design each month, specifically da da da. Now it's like if I have an idea for a product, I can just do it. Like I don't have to go, well, hang on a minute, have you done this for Patreon? Have you done that for Patreon? I can just go, hey, okay, let's figure this out and do it, make it happen. It isn't me saying I'm never doing Patreon again. What I'm probably going to do is just pause my Patreon like consecutively for the next however long. I'm not going to delete my whole page. There's a lot on there. There's a lot of content on there. I think I had a look and it was like, oh, unlock something like, I don't know, there was hundreds of pages of stuff. So I'm not going to delete it. It's still going to be there. It just feels like the right time for me to pause it and be able to focus on the shop stuff fully. I've already got other things like in the pipeline as such, things that I started working on last year and couldn't finish because of my head. I have managed to get back on track with those and look at getting them printed and made into things to put on the shop. So yeah, that's my little big update. I am still dealing with stuff with my head and my life, and there's lots of things going on that are or could be incredibly stressful, and I'm just trying to keep a lid on those. Anytime I feel like, oh my god, I'm so stressed, that's when I pause and go, okay, well, what is the things that make me feel stressed and can I relieve them in any way? Because stress messed me up massively. I don't want to be back at that burnout constantly month to month situation in my life again. It wasn't good for me, it wasn't fun. Yeah. You guys don't need to do anything. You can drop off of the tier, you can stay on the tier. I think if you stay on the tier, you still have access to all of the things and collage sheets and stuff. I'll just be pausing it month to month so you won't be charged. And if I ever come back to it, obviously you'll be on there, but I don't have any plans in the near future to do that. So it's up to you. I'm hoping I won't disappoint anyone. It doesn't mean I'm stopping and quitting everything. It just means that there's going to be more content and artwork and stuff coming on my shop and on other platforms. Whatever happens and however I deal with the next few months, all I know is I needed to change something and figure out what it was that was actually making me struggle with the Patreon and with the job and work and stuff. So, and this was it. Thank you all so much for being here on Patreon. I know some of you have been around for a long time, a long time. I did start Patreon in 2017, which was like 6 something years ago. I only know that because that's when I got Bonnie, and Bonnie is 6.5 almost. So it's been a while I've been doing it and just feels like the right time to stop. I hope you're all having a really lovely day, and I will see you very soon over on my YouTube channel. I do have a video I'm trying to get edited, but it's quite a long one, quite a different one, but it's a fun one in my opinion anyway. And I have some very fun things in the pipeline for the shop that I'm really excited to get sorted and made and up on the shop for sale. I'm going to go and get on with some things for the shop because I have a little list, just a little list, give myself a little list today of things that I want to do and prepare for the shop for next month. So yeah, I'm going to do that.